You're going offshore fishing. You've got that offshore fishing reel. In fact, you might need to buy one or you're just getting used to them, but you don't want to make any mistakes. And Jimmy Hillsman, you see mistakes all the time, don't you?
I do.
Oh, I know you do.
I've made them in the past, and I see it every day.
We've all made them. In fact, I still make them probably every single day. And so we are here at Oceans East in Nags, North Carolina. We're with the owner, Jimmy Hillsman, of course. I am also with the professor himself, Ron Edwards, and we're going to talk today about mistakes people make when going offshore fishing with their reels. And we've got 5 specific ones that we want to cover with you. And if you haven't done much offshore fishing, I think you're going to really appreciate these because these are classic ones and you've seen them many times. So Jimmy Hillsman, let's start with you. Mistake number 1 you see people make with their offshore fishing reels is?
And this is all the time.
Okay.
Daily.
All right, daily.
They'll come here and they buy something online that they found.
Yeah.
And they'll want us to spool it up, and I'll look and I'll have a level line.
A level line. All right, so break down what a level line is.
So this piece right here is a level line, and what it does, just so you don't have to guide the line with your thumb back and forth.
Correct.
It does it for you.
So I grew up using level lines.
Yep.
Because they're for what is the very novice fisher.
Yep.
You don't have to stay on top of it.
Yeah, it makes it easy. Oh yeah, big problem. Small fish, it's fine. But when you're out there catching tunas, wahoos, and big stuff, these things burn up. I mean, you burn up in a day.
So when you say burn up, what do you mean?
So fish hits taking line out, and this thing, so it's flying back and forth.
Okay.
And it can't keep up. So eventually it breaks your level line, or it'll break off because the line will ball up right in here and it'll break off because this can't keep up.
So you see that happen all the time?
All the time. And so
if you're going offshore.
So you don't want a level line, you'll have to learn, hey, guide the line with your thumb as you're reeling it back in and just pay attention. But once you catch a couple fish, guiding it with your thumb, it's something you don't even have to think about. You'll just do it. But I see it all the time. I have to go, guys, I'm sorry you just paid a lot of money for your reels, but it's more of like an inshore or a smaller fish thing.
Oh man, that's a good one, Russell. That's a really good one right there. I know we have not had that issue on Speechless. We've never had a level line, but that's what I grew up having.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
It works great for the bay.
Because everybody that comes on the boat, they're like, what? I don't understand. I'm used to, I'm used to seeing it go back and forth, and they don't realize that they have to do self-leveling at that point. They are going to have to level it and stay on top of it. And we have to teach people that when they come on the boat. But now you know the reason for that, because otherwise, no bueno.
That's right, no good.
All right, second mistake we see with offshore fishing reels and choices people make, Professor?
Not buying the proper size reel.
Okay.
You don't want this guy right here.
Which is a what?
This is a 130. It's a 130 class reel.
That's what we use for the
big bluefin.
Yeah.
Yep. You can catch 1,000-pound fish on this rig, but you don't want to be handling this catching 5-pound dolphin. You know what I mean? It's an overkill. But then again, you don't want this to catch a 500-pound bluefin.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a 30 class.
Yep.
So if you're using a 30 class, that could quickly be outclassed.
I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's not the proper gear for the job. So that's a big mistake we see a lot.
So undersized, oversized. What would you say is the most common? People getting too big or too small in this area, Jimmy, from what you've seen?
By far, too small.
Too small. Yeah. Specifically, is it because you see a lot of folks getting 30s when they should be getting 50 size?
Yeah, they're trying to save money.
Yeah.
Especially when they're first getting into it. So they get something small, and then real quickly, there's big eyes around or big stuff around, they lose fish. They get dumped, and they lose all their line, or they don't have the drag that can handle one of the bigger fish.
And the other thing about that is that creates a PTSD situation, because if you lose the fish of a lifetime, and it was like the biggest fish you've ever had, but you just watch yourself get spooled, man, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what happened? So now you don't have any line. You lost the biggest fish of your life.
Right.
You're depressed, and all you've got is a sad story.
Yep. That's right.
Man, you can't even post it on the YouTube, otherwise they'll tease you.
No picture.
All right, that was mistake number 2. Mistake number 3, Jimmy Hillsman, another one that I got a feeling you see all the time here at Oceans East.
So people will find a reel online, typically something made in China, something cheap, and it looks big and it looks like a Penn, a Shimano reel, but internally it's made very cheaply. So they'll buy to save $200 or $300 on, say, a 50 class reel,
Right.
but then they have issues. After a few fish, the drag issues or gear issues, and then they're stuck because,
They can't send it.
they can't. Yeah,
China.
There's nowhere. There's nowhere to send it to get
Then
fixed,
you're paying tariffs to get it fixed.
That's right.
and then they're stuck with a reel that doesn't work because
Right.
they can't get it fixed. And if they'd, the first time around, gone with a Shimano or a Penn or one of these reputable companies that have parts available, it'd be easy. They bring it to me. We have a service guy here that serves Penn, Daiwa, Shimano, most all the reels he'll service. He could bring it here and real quickly he'd knock it out and have him fishing again within a week. So I see it all the time. And I feel so bad for these people because all they're trying to do is save money, but they don't understand that saving money a lot of times isn't the best way to go.
Yeah, and it's not like you're trying to just say, well, you didn't buy it from me, so I'm not going to help you. You literally just, you can't fix a piece of junk and turn
If I could get parts, my reel guy could get parts to help them out of a jam, even if I didn't sell the reel to them or sell that brand, we would do it. But a lot of those, like that China cheap made stuff, parts aren't available.
Yeah.
You're out of luck, unfortunately.
All right, so don't make that mistake, y'all. I know you're going to be tempted. You can see something and listen, and don't buy that thing on Temu. Come on. Don't go down that road. Okay, so that was mistake number 3. Mistake number 4, I learned this recently. I wasn't smart enough to know the different names of the different types of, I didn't know that there's different names here. So what's mistake number 4 here, Professor?
Well, a lot of people might not know the difference between the two, so we'll go over that real quick. This is a star drag reel.
Okay.
And it has a lever that engages, free spool to your drag setting, and your drag setting is determined by this star. So you can preload it, test it at the dock, put your drag scale on it, but there's no adjustment on the fly with knowing proper setting.
And over time, these get looser, or they
have been known to back off. Like you have no idea if you make a quarter turn, how much drag you just bumped it up to.
Okay.
With a lever drag reel, you can preset. It comes with numbers, and some of them just have notches here, but you can preset what your drag setting is at what we call the button, and that's where you just push it up and it stops. But you say you've got a big fish on, it's steady pulling line, you can't gain. You can go past the button and add more drag. You know what I mean? So it's a more refined way of keeping track of your drag control.
So we've got lever and we've got star.
Star drag.
Stay away from star.
Stay away from the star for offshore fishing. It has its places in life, but out there in the deep blue is not one of them.
Yeah, you're out there on the Potomac River in Louisetta, Virginia. All right.
Yeah.
All right, but not in the Gulf Stream. Okay, so that was the 4th mistake. Let's stick with you, Professor, on the final mistake. Talk about line a little bit here.
This is an important one, and it's braid versus mono.
All right.
Braid really has no place for trolling offshore, and there's a couple different reasons why, and I'll tell you where it does have a place.
All right.
But these tunas, when you bite occasionally, you get a single bite, but majority of the time, it's multiples.
Okay.
And those fish, they're together before they bite, and after they bite, they want to get back together. So you have all those lines that are crossed up. Well, that braided line, when that has tension on it, it's sharp as a knife. When it hits another line, it cuts it off. Or you'll go from having 6 fish on to having no fish on.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's not good. And that's where monofilament has a lot of give and a lot of forgiveness. I can't tell you how many times we've had 6 or 8 fish on at one time. They've all been in the ball. The bait's back there, taking rods over top, trying to get them all untangled. You just gradually work your way in. Yeah, the lines are gonna rub, they're gonna get bad spots in them, but you try to make a mental note, and you replace those as needed. But the mono is a lot more forgiving than the braid. Wow. And where there is a place for braid offshore is on your deep rod. And the only reason for that is You need something that's going to cut through the water and get down when we planer fish, or even on like a DTX minnow or something like that. You want something that's going to cut and get down, but you're not pulling a whole spread of those. You know what I mean? The mono has a smaller diameter, and when it is pulled tight, it really cuts and dives through the water. So we only run like one of those, or maybe we'll do two, but it's not like your long riggers have braid, your middle riggers and everything like that, where the fish are actually going to get tangled up. You know, most of the time it's on that one rod, it's manageable, you can clear everything else around it, but that's one big mistake people make.
Man, that's helpful. That's helpful. And I didn't, like, these are things like, you know, just like I said, growing up on the Potomac, I didn't necessarily understand that, and just this idea of braid cutting through the line. So that was great. So just to remind you, mistake number one is the level line. We want to stay away from that offshore. Number two, we want to make sure we choose the right size. Don't get the 130 when we're going plucking some mahis off a weed line, right? Or vice versa. Don't get that 30 when you're thinking you're trying to save a few dollars and you catch a fish of a lifetime. Third one is make sure you get something that you can service, especially here with, you know, your local tackle shop, wherever you are. You want to buy local. And, you know, a lot of people make that mistake one time, but then they don't make it again, because as you get in the offshore world, it is typical to service these reels. I mean, it's just, we service ours.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how you do it.
It's annually.
And because they're expensive, you're not just going to want to, you know, chuck it and buy the next one. So that's definitely a big part of it. We talked about the star versus the lever drag setup, and stay away from the star. And then we talked about staying away from braid when we're doing our trolling. You know, and speaking of trolling, it is some amazing fishing out here in the OBX. And if you are not coming out here and experiencing that, I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, and I know you see it every day with 2 stores here in the Outer Banks. You've got, you know, one at the Oregon Inlet Fishing Center. You got one right here in Manio, which is, you know, next to Nags Head. The industry just keeps growing, doesn't it? I mean, it's wild.
Big time. I think people are starting to find out they're starting to see our fishery. I mean, for years it was really kept quiet. Pretty much in this Mid-Atlantic region, everybody did know that this area had great tuna fishing. But now, after the Wicked Tuna show and a lot of other stuff on TV, now people are starting to understand awesome fishing here. I mean, you guys, year-round, you guys pretty much can catch a tuna here.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Every month of the year.
And I tell you, the best way to learn which reels to use and how they're set up, even if you don't come and go fishing with us on the Speechless, come here to the Outer Banks. There's some of the best captains in the world. Go on one of these charter boats and learn. See what they're using to bail dolphins. Ask. The mates are very willing to answer any questions you have. I mean, it's your day on their boat. You know what I mean? If you're going to learn, you're paying your money, you're going to learn, it's the best way to learn. On the job, that's the best way. And everybody here is just friendly, you know what I mean? Like I say, there's some of the best captains in the world fishing here out of Oregon Inlet. So
they've been great to us.
Yeah, they certainly have.
They've really welcomed us in. And speaking of learning, I learned all my stuff from this guy here, the professor, and hopefully you're learning from him and from Jimmy Hillsman. You can place wherever you are in the country. You can place an order right here, oceans east of Nags Head. The number is on the screen right now, so just give him a call and they'll guide you through it. And if you got a budget, they'll find equipment that matches your budget, which is really, really cool. So we appreciate Jimmy. We appreciate you being a part of the community, helping us grow. We're taking off, and it's because we try to keep it real. We try to keep it honest. We're imperfect. And I think people see that. And come fishing with us. SpeechlessSportFishing.com. Until the next time, everyone, stay salty.